Hello, everybody. I am popping on a minute early so that I can get us live on Instagram as well. Waiting here. Hello, hello, everyone. If you are here, we are live everywhere we're supposed to be live. If you're on Instagram or Facebook or Talk Shop, let me know because I'd love to see you. Okay, here we go. Hello, everybody. Hi, Maria. Oh, I can see you. Yay. Thank you for commenting. I see you are coming in from Instagram. So good to see you. Oh my goodness, Morehead City. Becky from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Tilly Beth on Instagram. Marlon from Chapel Hill. Yay, go Heels. Happy Girls from Rhode Island. Emily Hart, Instagram. San Antonio. Thanks, guys. Oh, I love it. I love seeing you pop in. I'm so glad to be here with you tonight. Is anybody watching on Talk Shop? If you are, let me know so I can make sure that we're all connected. It looks like we are live everywhere and on YouTube. All right. I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight. This is the very, very first time that I am talking about Falling for Peachtree Bluff, my soon to be brand new book coming out in just 2 weeks. I am so, so thrilled. And I wanted to remind you as you're popping on that if you need to pre-order your copy, this beautiful, beautiful hardback here, you can pre-order them now on TalkShop or on Instagram. So if you're watching from TalkShop, you can just click the shop button. Or if you're on Facebook or Instagram, you can comment the word shop for a link to the order. And if you're on YouTube, you can click the link in the description. So we've made it really easy. And these come with what I think is the cutest book plate I've ever seen in my whole life. Look at this. So if you have read the Peachtree Bluff series, you might remember Ansley's dog Biscuit. This is Biscuit on the paddleboard, Peachtree Bluff in the background, and this will be coming in your hardback copy, first edition of Falling for Peachtree Bluff. So super, super excited for this book to come out. Cannot wait to share it with you. Cannot wait to tell you all about it tonight and hopefully answer some of your questions. Hi, Lynn from Richmond. Oh, hi. Hi, John from Greensboro. John's my cousin. Glad to see you. Hope everything's going well. Well, I am just so, so thrilled because this is kind of the beginning, guys. It's the beginning of everything here. And I want to tell you all about this book and answer your questions and go back in time and talk a little bit about the Peachtree Bluff series in general. But to start, if you love the cozy small town fall vibes of Gilmore Girls, Southern family drama, and a lot of romance, I think this is the book for you. So as some of you might know, this is the 5th book in my Peachtree Bluff series. And as we begin, youngest sister Emerson is in New York, starring in a new TV show, busy planning her upcoming wedding back in Peachtree Bluff, and struggling with some things underneath the surface. A very pregnant middle sister Sloane and her husband Adam are building a house back in Peachtree Bluff, and it is over time, over budget, and she is over it. Oh, hi, Jeff Summers. Thank you for my birthday card, Jeff. Back to the book. Vivi, who is Caroline's daughter, uncovers a startling realization that shakes her to her core. And ordinarily, eldest sister Caroline is there to swoop in and fix everyone's problems, but she is more than a little distracted by a very unexpected love triangle that she finds herself in. So things with Ansley, our matriarch, are status quo. She's happy. She's busy with her design business and her daughters, and things are going really well with her husband. But when a scandal that would affect every Peachtree Bluff citizen rips through town, and it looks like her husband Jack is at the center of it, Ansley is left questioning whether he is actually the man she thought she knew. So this fall, the air is crisper, the water is calmer, but when it comes to the Murphy family and Peachtree Bluff, nothing is ever quite as simple as it seems, including the way this series was born, which was absolutely not simple at all and was a little bit of a surprise to me, to be honest. So this is one of my favorite stories, and I haven't really told it very much because, to be honest, it's not something that, you would be super proud of, but I guess all these years later, I am kind of proud of it. So the Peachtree Bluff series began in a moment that I thought my writing career was over. I had 2 books out in the world. Dear Carolina and Lies and Other Acts of Love was about to release. That was my second novel. It was about to go out on book tour. It was sort of my first. I had been on book tour for Dear Carolina, but my tour for Lies and Other Acts of Love was a pretty robust tour. It was, like a month long, and I had a ton of stops, and I was so excited about it. And it just felt like this moment where I was like, I've kind of made it to this new level, and I'm going to be a real author. And I turned in my third novel, Feels Like Falling, and my publisher didn't want it, which was not something that I was expecting at all. I was very surprised by that. So I thought, okay, well, this isn't good. And I sort of thought my career was over. I really did. I remember like lying on the floor very dramatically in my bedroom, being like, this is it. I have these 2 books and that's it. And I'm not going to be an author anymore. And I'm never going to get to write again. And it was a tough moment for sure. And I just kept thinking, okay, well, 2 things simultaneously. I was like, number 1, I'm getting ready to go out on book tour and I've got to live up every moment because this might be the only time that I ever get to go on book tour again. This could be it. This could be it for my career. It could be over for me. And I might not ever get to do this again. And then the second thought I had was that, I was going to have to go out on this tour. And the number one question that everyone asks you when you're out on tour is, what do you have coming up next? And I was going to have to kind of dance around this and, kind of, I mean, you can't say, I'm sorry, my career's over. You're never going to see me again, because that's not a very uplifting comment. But I was just going to have to be cagey and say, oh, I don't know, because that was the truth. So I go out on tour and my agent is, pitching this book, Feels Like Falling, for me all over the place. And, obviously he's thinking we need to get another deal for this book so that this poor girl's career is not over and she's not lying on her bedroom floor for the rest of her life. And so I was at home. I was in Salisbury, North Carolina, which is my hometown. And I got a phone call from my agent saying, "Oh my goodness, I got kind of a bite on this manuscript, and this editor, who was an editor I really wanted to work with, who had sort of made a name for herself in her career for a book that you might have heard of called Sex in the City. She wants to talk to you." And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it turned out she really liked Feels Like Falling and she wanted to publish it, she thought, but she really wanted me to write a series first. And I had never thought about writing a series. I had never really imagined at that point in my career that someone would take a chance on me for, that many books in a row. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll talk to her about, I hadn't even really read a series since like The Babysitter's Club. I mean, it had been a while. So my agent says to me, call her, find out what she wants from you, but whatever you do, don't pitch her the idea for the series. And I was like, I can't pitch her the idea for the series because I don't have an idea for a series. So the next day, she calls me on the phone. I'm so nervous. I'm like, this is my shot to kind of salvage my career. And so I better make it good. And so we sort of hit it off right away. She's from Florida, which is arguably the South, depending on who you ask out there in the world. I found that out being on tour. And I was really excited to be able to tell her that I had written my master's thesis on Jane Austen and Sex in the City, which of course was her big book. So that was really exciting. And so the conversation's gone really well. She knows I'm on tour. She knows I'm really busy. I'm not going to be writing right then or anything. And so we're about to kind of wrap it up. And before we do, she says, I love the way you write about sisters. And I say, that's so great. I want to write a series about sisters, which is categorically untrue. The only thought that I had for a series at that point was I thought I might picture a series idea about a group of military wives whose husbands are all deployed at the same time, who like move into a house together, which is kind of weird because if any of you guys have read Beach House Rules, that's not what the book is about, but it sort of is. And I had never thought about that until this moment right now. Oh my goodness. So that's bizarre. But anyway, I guess I did kind of come back to that eventually, but that was the only idea I had thought of. And she says, well, tell me a little bit more about that. And I'm like, okay. So off the top of my head, I just pitch her this idea about these three grown sisters who, for very different reasons, end up coming back home to a little coastal southern town to live with their mother. And she says, "Great, tell me more about the mother." And this is when I start to panic because this is when I realize what I have done. And that is, I've started to pitch her a series. So fortunately, my mom and I have had a design blog since like 2013, which was really going strong at that point. And I said, "Well, she's a decorator." And I was thinking about all the things I need to make a good story. And I was like, of course we got to have a romance in there. And I was like, let's give mom the love story. And so I said, at the same time, all these sisters come home, this man from the mother's past comes back and he's carrying a big secret. So she asks me the very next question, the very next obvious question, which is, what's the secret? And I don't know because I don't know the secret because I'm pitching this on the fly, which is the one thing I'm not supposed to do. But this is one of my favorite things that's ever happened. A few years before that, there was someone that I knew not even very well, who was she was very elderly, and she knew that she was going to pass away soon, and she summoned me to her home to tell me this very crazy story and about this big secret that she knew. And she said she was the last living person that knew this secret, and she thought I should write a book about it. So she tells me the secret, which I'm not going to tell you now, because if you haven't read Peachtree Bluff, this is a huge spoiler for you. But if you have read it, you know the secret, and now you know it was based on a true story. And she piles out with the secret, and I said I could never write that because no one would believe it happened. But I'm in the midst of this phone call. It's the only secret I have kind of on the tip of my tongue. And so I pile out with it. And this editor is completely quiet on the other end of the phone. And I'm like, okay, well, that's it. I ruined it. It was going really well. And I have just, killed this whole opportunity. And she says, I've never read that before. And I said, well, is that a good thing? And she said, that's a great thing. And I was like, okay, great. Phew, that's amazing. So I hung up the phone with her. I called my agent and he said, you pitched her the idea for the series, didn't you? And I was like, how did you know? How did you know that I pitched the idea? But he was like, okay, whatever. And I said, it was fine. It went really well. I told her, I'm on tour. When I get home from tour, I'll write you up a proposal. And she said, I'll present it at the house and we'll go from there. So that was it. And I was thinking, all right, fingers crossed that, this will work out and hopefully this will happen for me. But uh, as it turned out, I was still on tour a couple of weeks later in Litchfield Beach, South Carolina. So I've told this story in Litchfield quite a few times, and I told it on Instagram recently. So if you heard it, I'm sorry, but I'm telling you again here on Talk Shop Live tonight. I was at a gas station pumping gas, and my agent called me and said, I don't know what you said on that phone call, but you just got a series deal for this then untitled series that no one knew what it was going to be about. So I'm going to pause here for a minute because I know we've got some questions coming in. And I'm going to come back in a minute and tell you how I got the title and the name of Peachtree Bluff and the characters, because it's kind of a fun story. But I see so many people coming in. Oh, I'm so glad to see you guys. Thank you for being here with me tonight. It's so, so nice. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Debbie. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Mindy. Okay. Jeff Summer says, is Peachtree NBC or Netflix? So the Peachtree Bluff series was in development with NBC. Good memory, Jeff. And unfortunately, it was going really well. We were kind of on to the second episode. And during the writer's strike, we had a little setback. So we're working really hard on the Peachtree Bluff series right now. I'm actually going to California on my tour to work on Peachtree Bluff a little bit and do some book touring too. So I'll be in LA. If anybody's out there is in LA, come see me. I'll be at Zibby's Books on October 7th. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But so we're still working on it. So fingers crossed, we'll kind of get it back in action. But it's going well. There's a lot of enthusiasm behind it. Great team. So we're working hard. So fingers crossed. Oh, Anissa says, who is the hardest character to write in book 5 of this series? Oh, that's a great question, Anissa. So Caroline was the easiest, which was kind of funny because she's kind of a difficult person. If you've read the series, she's a difficult person. But I think she has the largest character arc of all in this series, which I really like for her. I think she's very kind of unhappy when Slightly South of Simple begins, and you can see that. And I think she always means well, but she has a lot of baggage, and she's going through a really difficult time. And I think by the end of book 5, she's really sort of like found her happiness and her place. And I really love that for her. So that's not the question you asked me. You asked me who is the hardest. Maybe Sloane. And the only reason I say that is because I feel like Sloane, yes, she's having issues with her house. And yes, she's working too much. And she's gone through some things like kind of off page that we haven't really seen a lot of. But this is gonna sound terrible, but I felt like Sloane was hard to write because she's in kind of a good place in her life. I mean, she has Adam, who's wonderful, and we love him so much, and her cute boys, and her art, and so she's dealing with some kind of internal struggles. But I think it was maybe the hardest for me to just like make sure that her piece of the story was really kind of flowing and kept things going because Sloane's kind of in a pretty good place. So that's a terrible thing to say. Like, I want my characters in good places, but it does make them harder to write. Oh, Jeff said you and the Friends of Fiction family are a blessing. Thank you, Jeff. That's so kind. All right, the cover is beautiful. Oh, this is Barbara Wojcik. Thanks, Barbara. The cover is beautiful. Was that your first choice for the cover? So this almost never happens. Let me show the cover really close. If you're on Instagram, I'm trying to put it right here in your little rectangle. So this is the beautiful, beautiful cover. And this is the only cover I saw, which is that almost never happens. I usually get a bunch of cover choices and we go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And they sent me this cover and I was like, yes, sold. I love it. And if you can see, there's like a little blue bicycle here, but I just saw that and I thought that's fall. Like I have no notes on this. This is fall. This is what fall should look like. And I just absolutely love it. And if you are getting your copy from Talk Shop Live, comes with this adorable signed book plate. And the reason that I show you that is because this is Peachtree Bluff from the water, and then this is Peachtree Bluff from the land. So it's like kind of the best of all possible worlds here. But I just loved it. And I'm going to kind of try to, if you know me and you follow me on social media, you know I love a good cover recreation. I don't do it every time because sometimes like they're tricky. But this one, I cannot wait to recreate because as some of you may or may not know, Peachtree Bluff is inspired by Beaufort, North Carolina, where I actually live. And this photo looks absolutely exactly identical to the street behind my house, like down to the white picket fence, like even like the road down here and these big trees. And I can't wait. Now, I will tell you, I'm not going to be able to do it before this book releases on September 15th because it's still about 90 degrees here. So we do not have any fall leaves happening yet, but we will soon. And I cannot wait for that. Oh, hi, Laurie. Oh, Jeff Summers wants to know how Salt is. Salt is my puppy dog. Salt is great. Salt is, we're having our house renovated right now. So he is a little out of sorts with that, but otherwise he's just living his best life as usual. Rhonda said Army Wives. Yes. I mean, I actually never watched that show, but believe me, I would have watched it for research for that book. Definitely. And now that makes me want to go back and watch it. It's one of those ones that I'm always like, I feel like this is such a good show and I need to go back and watch it. So I'm going to do that. Charleston Flower Garden. That is so cute. Flower, like Flour. I absolutely love that. Make a series about the characters and feels like summer. I love that. I love that. All right. Jeff says, love how you write about family. Thank you, Jeff. That's right. Family is family. You don't have to be born into it. One you made. Lizette says Beach House Rules was in the works for a really long time, right? Longer than I ever knew. Old soul bookish. Military spouse here. I love the spouse idea. Yes, the military spouse community is so strong and so supportive of each other. That's so true. So the second book in this series is called The Secret to Southern Charm, and it focuses on Sloane, who is a military wife, and she's going through a really difficult time. So that is definitely Sloane's, like where I said Sloane's in a good place in her life and falling for Peachtree Bluff. Sloane is in a really, really tough place in her life during The Secret to Southern Charm. And I actually got the idea for that book because my son was in preschool in a military town. And I used to go in the mornings. It was about 30 minutes away from our house, and it was this great preschool program that I really wanted him to be in. So I would drive, and I would drop him off, and I would go sit at Starbucks for 3 hours and have my breakfast and my coffee, and then go back and pick him up. And there was a group of military spouses that was there, like, every morning, and I got to know them and got to be friends with them, and I learned so much about being a military spouse from them, which was just really amazing. And I thought, I have to write about this. I thought it was such a unique culture. And it wasn't something that I grew up in, but something that I just really enjoy learning about and putting on the page. It was awesome. Jeff, well, I put Dolly in my next book. Dolly Parton. Oh, I should. I love her so much. At least like a nod to her, right? She's absolutely lovely. Hi, Mindy. I see you. Lynn says you captured the character of Ansley perfectly, how she interacts with her adult children and trying to discover what she wants in life. Thank you. That means a lot to me. And I will give my mom a lot of credit for that. She really inspired this this series so much because she said something to me about how difficult it was to parent adult children. And so you see Ansley kind of struggle with that throughout the series about, when she should step in and say something and when she should pull back and not say it. In fact, somebody said to me that I will say, I do think this is maybe like a Southern thing, but I was doing an interview the other day and they were like, it's so funny how the characters in this book, like a lot of times they won't just come out and say something to each other because it's really just not the Southern way. You sort of tiptoe around things and I was giving them this example of how my grandmother was a very proper Southern woman and she was amazing and hilarious and fabulous in every way, but she would never hurt your feelings or, let you think she disapproved of you, but she would let like in her own way. And I remember my mom saying one time, this was before, I mean, I feel like we all wear athleisure all the time. This was before then. This was like probably 35 years ago or something. And she said to my mom, I just hate seeing all these young girls in the grocery store in their exercise clothes. And mom was like, that meant that someone had seen me in my exercise clothes at the grocery store and like was not happy. Was talking about it. Of course, now I think we all wear exercise clothes to the grocery store. I know I do, but at the time, it was a little bit of a faux pas. So pretty funny. Susie Baldwin, love this book. Thank you, Susie. Oh, Jeff, Christmas at Peachtree is my traditional read since my mom passed in 2023. Thank you. That makes me so happy. Thank you, Mindy, for being here. Rhonda says, so ready for you to be at our event on 9/14 in Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Laurie. Oh, Laurie, you haven't heard the story behind the secret. I'm so glad you got to hear that. Hi, Robin. I know. Yay for film is so true. Yes, Florida. Debbie, I'm in LA on October 7th. I'll send you the details about that. I'm very excited. Wait, did I just say the wrong thing? October. I might be in like the whole wrong month. October 7th. October 7th. Yes, it's Ibby's bookstore. That's right. Hi, Francine. Oh, yep, 15 days. Debbie's my countdown queen. Hi, Lisa. Old Soul Bookish. I just love it. Yep, first cover they showed me. It's absolutely amazing. Oh, you love trying to picture Lainey Wood says, I love trying to picture Sloane's paintings in my mind. Lainey, this is genius. I had not even thought of this. I need to get an artist friend to help like kind of bring this to life. Oh my goodness. Oh, Sheila loves Beaufort. Absolutely beautiful. Me too. Nancy Goodnight Wright says, how does Salt feel about stand-up paddleboard adventures? I love that so much. That's such a great question. So again, this is the book plate here. And so this is supposed to be Biscuit, but as Nancy so sagely hit on, this is actually a drawing of my dog, Salt. He's actually like a little bit it's not 100%. Well, yeah, it's sort of a combination, I guess. I will tell you really honestly, Salt is not great on a paddleboard because Salt likes to jump in the water, which is fine, but sometimes he jumps in the water and he maybe underestimates how far he is from shore or overestimates his swimming abilities. God love him. He's a precious dog, but he's not like the best swimmer ever. Michelle says, hi from Western New York. Oh, can't wait to get my package from the Brenda Novak store. Yay, that'll be so fun. I love it. Oh, Susan says, love all your books, but the Peachtree Bluff series is extra special. Loved Army Wives. Joining from Salisbury, Maryland. Thank you. Oh, you guys, this is awesome. I love seeing you. Okay, so, Charleston Flower Garden, you did not miss the secret. I was talking about the story behind the secret, but the secret is revealed in Slightly South of Simple, which is the first book in the series. And if I tell you the secret, it kind of ruins the whole series. So that's okay. Um, okay, can we have a TV series? We are working hard on it, Stouffer family. We are working so hard. Laura Eisenhower Robinson says, will the special champagne glasses be at Salisbury at Catawba? I believe that they will be, actually. That's an excellent question. Um, all right. You're so thoughtful. Joni's Journey says you're so thoughtful with freebies and pre-orders. How long did it take to seal the envelopes with your custom wax seal? Well, I will be honest, Joni, I had a little help. I could not have gotten all those out and planned for tour and written my next book. It would have taken forever and ever, but I needed you guys to have some really special packages. So I'm very, very excited that you got those. Thank you. Can't wait to see you in Cleveland. I love that book plate. Yes, me too. Me too. Um, Okay, so I'm going to pause for just a minute and tell you how the title of the Peachtree Bluff series and the names in the series came to be, because I think this is sort of fun. So I told y'all, I pitched the idea for the series, got this book deal while I was on book tour, and I had a very tight deadline for the first book in the series, and it was only my third book, so I think I had maybe like a 3 to 4 month deadline, which at the time was very, very tight for me, and I was very nervous about it. It was summer. I had a 3-year-old. I didn't really have like any help with him, and I was just like I was a little nervous. So while I was on tour, I gave everyone jobs. So I called my husband. My husband's very, very good with like coastal towns. And I had pitched the idea that I wanted to set the series actually in Beaufort, where I live. But for whatever reason, my editor was like, I really want it set in coastal Georgia. And she could have said, I want it set on Mars. And I would have said, sure, great. Like my writing career is not over. I'll set this book wherever you want. And so I called my husband and I was like, I need help. I need a name for this coastal town in Georgia that's fictional and it's small. And he is really good at this. He does this for me a lot, you guys, when I'm coming up with like fictional towns or something. And he made this huge list of like, you know, kind of first names and last names, if that makes sense. So he said in Georgia, largely they have bluffs, whereas in North Carolina, there are not a lot of bluffs. But he was like, bluffs will be great, because there's a lot of bluffs in Georgia. And then he made this whole list of, all these names. And most of them came from the most popular street names in Georgia. So Peachtree is the most popular street name in the state of Georgia. So Peachtree Bluff. But we had two choices, actually. Peachtree Bluff was one, and the other was Starlight Island, because the state mineral of Georgia is called starlight. It's spelled a little differently, but I thought how beautiful. We could use starlight as this symbol, and this will be so amazing. And I'm so excited about this. But my publisher ended up loving Peachtree Bluff more than they loved Starlight Island, but I couldn't let go of Starlight Island. So if you're familiar with this series, you know that I kept Starlight Island. And so in my town of Beaufort, like out my window, there is a little island right across. It's called the Rachel Carson Reserve. But in the series, it's called Starlight Island. So I kept that. And then I called my mom and I said, okay, I am writing this series and it's going to be about this mom and her 3 daughters. And I told her all about the mom and I told her all about the daughters. And I was like, I need names. And she didn't even send me a list. She said, she thought about it and she called me back and she said, the mother is Ansley. And we thought that was so cute because we were working on grandmother names at that time for like basically all of my aunts. And we thought Gransley would be the cutest grandmother name. And we knew Ansley was going to have a ton of grandchildren. So her grandmother name was almost as important as her real name. And then she named Caroline, Sloane, and Emerson. So pretty good. She really managed all that for me. So I have to thank my family all the time for shipping in and helping me with these books. But it was amazing. Oh, Janet Lee Burke. Hi, Janet. Of course, I remember meeting you 10 years ago at Buxton Books. Gosh, has that been 10 years ago? I can't even believe it. I definitely remember. Your dog Joey is Salty's twin and featured in a Charleston Adventure book. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. We do need to get our fur babies together. I love that. I love that. Oh, Rhonda W wants to know, are you working on the next book yet? Oh, I am absolutely working on the next book. In fact, I hit the end. I typed the end yesterday. So yeah, and actually I was thinking of taking 2027 off, and I've been working on the book that will come out in 2028 for years. And I thought, I'm going to take a little break. I've had 2 books this year. I don't need to have a 2027 book. It'll be fine. And I was on tour and I got this idea that I was like, I have to write this book. And I called my editor and I said, what do you think? It'll be kind of a rush, but to get it out because it's a winter book. Well, that's not really true. It's not really a rush to get it out. It's over a year from now. So it's not really a rush at all. I don't even know why I said that. But I think just because in my head, we weren't going to do a 2027 book, that it was going to feel a little bit like, more for me or whatever. But I just loved this idea, and it was just all in my head, and I just knew all these characters and I knew what the story was going to be. And I pitched her the idea and she loved it too. So sorry to be cryptic. I'll tell you more about it, but we haven't actually announced it yet. So as soon as we announce it, I'll tell you all about it. But I have finished the first draft and I'm really excited about it. So I'm very excited. Becky says, I would love for you to come to Alabama. I'm coming to Alabama, Becky. I have a bunch of Alabama stops. I'm doing 2 in Auburn, 1 in Fairhope, 1 in, I'm forgetting somewhere that I'm going in Alabama. I don't know, but my whole tour schedule is up at KristyWoodsonHarvey.com. There's a little tour dates tab, and I have a bunch of Alabama stops. So come see me. And Nashville, I know sometimes when you're in Alabama, it's like actually close, just depending on where you are. But yes, 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 yes. Oh, congrats to Will for recognition as junior angler for the season. Thank you. My little boy won fishing prize. Very excited. See you in Roswell, Georgia. You absolutely can bring everything you want. Of course you can. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, wait, I did not read your name. Amtastic. You may bring all your books. Of course, of course, of course. So if we buy your book today, will it be signed by you? What an excellent question, Maria. I love that question. If you buy this book today, it is signed by my own little hand, and you get one of these beautiful book plates here, which personally, I kind of think adds a little something extra to the book. I absolutely love these. I'm kind of obsessed with them. So this is Biscuit, the dog in the book, and he goes on a lot of paddleboarding adventures with Ansley, his mama, and in this book, Vivi, who is the granddaughter in the book, who's also a main point of view character. But I think what I love about this is it really captures Peachtree Bluff from the water. So yes, get my signature for sure. Let's see. Oh, can I read to you from the book? Do y'all want me to? Okay, I'm going to read you a little tiny bit. I don't want there to be, I'm struggling with reading from this book, and I'll tell you why, because everything's a spoiler, you guys. It's crazy. All right, but I'm going to read you just a teeny tiny bit from Emerson's perspective. Let's see who asked that. Chandra, am I saying your name right, Chandra? I hope I am. I'm sorry if I'm not. Okay. So this is actually the 3rd chapter of the book, and it's from Emerson's perspective, and it's titled More Like Sloane, which I'm not going to read you the whole thing, so we won't get to that part. But I was tired today, I realized as I took my place across from Chase Aarons, the super hot actor who was playing my love interest on the new show I was filming, Slightly South. We had been playing a very steamy game of cat and mouse for the past 6 episodes, which by the next would finally come to a head. Maybe I should have been nervous about how dangerously close I was to this man, but all I could think instead was, I'm so tired today. Could I be pregnant? It would be perfect timing. As I leaned into Chase and whispered, not here, not now, in my sultriest southern accent, the director yelled, cut. Honestly, I was so distracted that I was sure we were going to have to retake, but he said, guys, that was perfect. Amazing. You're so on today. Huh. Well, that was good since I felt decidedly off. But if the camera said I was on, I was on. Chase put his hand up to his rugged jaw and rubbed his fingers over his stubble. He was dark and brooding and the hottest man I had ever seen with a shaved head. Even still, he wasn't as hot as my almost husband, Kyle. No one was as hot as Kyle. But Chase was a close second. He was nice too and funny. We laughed almost constantly on set, which was really putting my mind at ease about the love scene we were going to have to do next week. Those could be super awkward, especially when your co star was serious and caught up in himself. Or worse, the kind of co star who was used to every leading lady falling in love with him and wanting to do the love scenes for real offset. Chase was staring over my head, jaw agape. What are you looking at? I asked, turning. I smiled and saw right away what had caught his eye. A stunning brunette wearing a form fitting ribbed cashmere wrap dress in the most sumptuous shade of off white with a pair of patent leather stiletto boots that matched the dress perfectly, was walking so quickly that her hair was blowing behind her as if she had a wind machine on her. I looked back up at Chase's face. It was like I could hear the music playing in his head, a theme song she was walking in time to. Who is that? He asked breathlessly. You want me to introduce you? You know her? He looked down at me incredulously as if I held the keys to some sort of magical kingdom. And well, maybe he was right. Well, I mean, you could say that. She's my sister. Chase looked down at me and then back up at Caroline in a way I didn't love, in a way that said, You are related to her? I mean, come on. I was generally regarded as hot. I was also 8 years younger than Caroline, but she did have something, an X factor that went beyond her beauty and style. She had presence. She was always the most powerful woman in the room. And as she approached me, it was clear that Chase, who couldn't seem to get his jaw off the floor, was under her spell. He smiled at her so wide that I swear for a moment he must have thought she was coming over to see him. But she totally ignored him, his face falling the tiniest bit. No one ignored Chase Aarons. Well, no one except Caroline Beaumont. Okay. I love that. Little meet cute there for you guys. Thanks for making me read. I don't often do that, so I appreciate it. Michelle said, loves the character names her mom did good. I know, didn't she? All right. Gina says, can you tell us what your writing process is like? Do you always write at a desk? Can you only write at midnight or what? This is a great question. And I love the way you phrased it. So I started writing when I had just had a baby, which was bizarre. I don't know why. I mean, that's not really true. I'd kind of always been a writer. It's like a long story, but my first novel that was published, I started writing right after I'd had a baby. So I got used to writing sort of anywhere, which was really helpful for me. But now I really do I like to get up in the morning, get my writing done very first thing. I'm sitting in my office right now, which is my favorite place to write. I really like it. It's very light and bright in here, and I'm surrounded by all my books and I love it. And so this is generally where I write, and I do tend to write first thing in the morning before I do social media or emails or all those types of things, and my brain gets all jumbled for the day. But I like the way that you phrase that question, because if I can be really honest with you, I do my best writing around midnight. And a lot of times, especially when I'm working on something new, I wake up in the middle of the night with these ideas and all this dialogue and all these characters in my head. And I really have to get up and kind of capture those moments. I only let myself do it a few times for every book because, I have to get up and take my son to school and be a productive member of society the next day. So I can't stay up all night every night. But really, I do think some of my best ideas come in the middle of the night, unfortunately. Will there be a sequel to Summer State of Mind? I loved everyone. Thank you. My answer to that is I don't know. But I never say never because I never really plan. So if you haven't read Under the Southern Sky, a lot of those characters from Summer State of Mind are in Under the Southern Sky. It's not really a sequel necessarily, but I hadn't really even planned on revisiting them. And then I just felt very compelled to. So I can definitely see that. I can definitely see doing that. I love those characters so much, and I would love to kind of see where they end up. Jason said, why did you decide to take 2027 off? What will you be doing? Well, Jason, writing a lot, but I'm not taking 2027. I wasn't saying I was taking it off. I was saying I wasn't going to have a book release in 2027, which is not uncommon. A lot of authors put out a book every 2 years. I've done a book a year or 2 books a year for the past 11 years. So, and I had two. So I had a book come out in May, and then I have this book releasing September 15th. So, two in 2026. So I was just going to not have a release in 27, but now I am going to have a release in 2027. So in 2027, I will be putting out that book, and I'm super excited about it. And writing, of course, because I'm always writing a little bit. And also I'm working a lot on film and television projects. I'm doing a big writing project for one of my own screenplays right now, and also working on a co-write for one of my TV shows. So I have that kind of in the works too. So a lot going on. What are those books behind you? Are they all yours? Right behind me is Falling for Peachtree Bluff because they just came in and I was so excited I had to do a whole thing. But actually, you can't see it, but I'm actually surrounded by bookshelves in here. And so I do have shelves of my own books in different places. But I'm glad you asked because this shelf in particular, if I'm on Instagram, if you're on Instagram, you can't see it. I'm sorry, guys. But if you're on Facebook or TalkShop or YouTube, you can see what I'm pointing at. But these are all books that I've blurbed. And I think the ones above it maybe as well, or most of them are. So that's kind of fun. I haven't kept all of them, but I do try to keep some of them so the blurb is like, for example, if you haven't heard that term right here, like Susan Mallory did the blurb for Falling for Peachtree Bluff. And it says, Peachtree Bluff is my happy place, which I just love. It's so good. I love Susan Mallory. That's a very good question, Jason. Thank you for asking that. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before. Barbara said, I was thinking you typed the end on your book for 2029, the way you write so quickly. Well, it theoretically could have been. That was the plan, Barbara. That was the plan. But why would you be ahead when you could just put out another? No, I'm so excited about it though. It's like, I can't wait till 2029. I'm always afraid someone else is going to write the book when I have that idea. Oh, my husband. Oh, Grand Bobby thought of this reading Grand Jack. Love your book so much. Thank you. Um, oh, I love that. Yeah, I mean, we got to have more about this family, right? That's really, really cute. I love that. I love that. How long till the paperback comes out? I want to match all the rest of my series. That's Shauna Baker. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I would say it's usually a year. But I'm not 100% I don't make all those decisions. So, thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm so glad I don't have to make all those decisions. But I think it should be about a year from now. Awesome. Oh, Linda says, hi from Morehead City. Love the series. Enjoying the Peachtree Bluff Inn fun. You should sell some Peachtree Bluff Inn swag. Linda, stay tuned. Hopefully we'll be announcing it this week. There's actually a company that we are going to partner with to offer some Peachtree Bluff Inn swag because so many people have been asking. I love it so much. And I posted a gorgeous tote bag that they sent to me. So anyway, stay tuned. Stay tuned. I do want to remind everyone, if you are watching right now on Facebook or Instagram, comment the word shop to receive a link in your DMs to order a signed copy of Falling for Peachtree Bluff with this precious Falling for Peachtree Bluff signed book plate. And if you are on TalkShopLive, you can just hit you can hit the shop button to order your copy. Maria, thanks. Thanks, guys. Thanks for praising my reading. That was very nice. I never do that very much. Dana, what are you reading right now? I am reading Love You More by Emily Giffin. I'm a huge Emily Giffin fan, and I'm going to be doing my launch with me in Atlanta on September 15th. Well, it's right outside of Atlanta at Poe and Company, and I'm so excited. I'm such a big Emily Giffin fan. I have been I hate it, not my whole life. It's funny because we don't even have that big of an age difference, but like her first book came out, I think maybe when I was like late high school or early college. And she was just one of kind of like the first authors I like really picked for myself, which just, I don't know, there's something really special about that. And I just always remember like, she's just been a really big role model to me. So I'm very excited about that. Oh, Rhonda says, would love for you to revisit the characters in the Summer of Songbirds. Me too. Francine says, come back to Richmond. I will. Oh, all right, Bonnie J says, what's one piece of advice you would give to a new writer? Okay, so I hope this doesn't sound too simplistic, Bonnie, but I gave this advice a lot on my last tour, and so many writers reached out to me and said it was like really helpful to them. So I don't know. So forgive me if you're like, well, duh, and you might be. But I have actually done a lot of research about this. I'm a big research person, and a lot of people don't know this, but I actually thought I was going to be a doctor. I was not planning on being a writer. Science was always my best subject in school, and I just really love science. So I try to like keep up with some sciencey things. But I hear so often people will come up to me and they'll say, I'm writing a book or I've written a book, but I can't finish it. Like over and over and over and over and over and over, people say that to me. And I thought that was really, really interesting. And I was like, there's no way that you have written, 330 pages of a book and you can't write the last 15. Like it just, I knew there was like something more to this story. So I did some research on this. And apparently this is very like psychologically common. And it makes a lot of sense to me because I do this too, right? Because once you finish the book, then you sort of have to take the next step. You have to put it out there, try to get an agent, try to get published, like put yourself on the line in a really big way. And that can be really, really scary. So I did a lot of research on this. And I do think that there's something about finishing the book, even if it's not good, even if it's not the right ending, even if you take your characters to the grocery store. This is always the example I use. Take your characters to the grocery store and have them, fall in love in the checkout line, whatever. I don't care. Finish the book, even if it's not good. There is something about finishing a first draft that like signals to your brain, I've done this. It was safe. I was fine and I can do it again. And that's always my advice. And I will tell you this too. I wrote three manuscripts or two manuscripts before I tried to get an agent. And then I signed with an agent for my third manuscript, and then won a writing contest for my fourth manuscript while my agent was trying to sell that third manuscript. And so I have three manuscripts floating around out there, not floating around, hopefully never floating around, but I have three manuscripts that are right before I ever got published. So if you're an aspiring writer, a lot of times, you've just gotta, you've really just nothing's wasted, no words are wasted. But my big advice is just finish it. Even if it's a book that you're like, I have a better idea and I'm going to write something else, just finish the first one anyway. Cause there's just something about it like that is, it just signals to us that like we can do it. We can do it. It's amazing. Just saying hi, and I'm super excited for following in all the screen adaptations. Thank you, Emmy. I'm so glad to see you. Oh, to clarify, what book or books are you reading? I'm reading Love You More by Emily Giffin. Did I say that? No. Maybe not. Oh, maybe. Sorry, I see what you're saying. Got it. I'm not sure that I ever said that's what I was reading. I'm reading Love You More by Emily Giffin. I told you how much I loved Emily Giffin, but that is the book that I'm reading too. Let's see. Oh, I hope Michelle says, have you returned to the Delaware beaches in 2027? Me too. It's been a couple years. Oh, how do you have time to read other authors? So I have a web show and podcast with Mary Kay Andrews and Kristen Harmel and Patty Callahan Henry called Friends and Fiction. And I see a lot of Friends and Fiction fans out here on the page. Thank you guys for showing up for me tonight. I'm so appreciative. And we're always interviewing authors. And so we read constantly for the show. And reading is one of my favorite things. So I really love it. And I think it's such a good hobby and it's a good gift. I read before bed. I am a before bed reader. I know a lot of people say that they fall asleep. I'm kind of the opposite. I have to give myself like, okay, you can only read till, X time or whatever. Cause I'm like, well, I'm the one more chapter girl. Like I'll stay awake forever. I read more in the summer, which I don't know why that is. I can't really explain it. I don't have less work in the summer, but somehow I read more in the summer. It's like just going back in time to my childhood or something when I read more in the summer. I don't know. But I also always carry a book with me. So like just in little snippets of time, if I'm waiting in the carpool line or I'm standing in line at the post office, and it helps me scroll a little less too. So anyway, but yeah. Oh, this is a great question. Coastal Clutch Charleston, do you have a favorite character in your books? I love all my children. I love all my characters. I really do. That's not true. No, some of them I don't love, but I love them even though they're like the antagonist or you're supposed to not like them or whatever. They're all special to me. But in Falling for Peachtree Bluff, this is kind of a secondary character, but I love Chase. He is part of Caroline's love triangle in this book. And if you just heard me read, I just read about him for a second. And he was like not supposed to be a big part of this book, y'all. Like he was going to be this little like fly by night character and not a big deal. And then I just loved him. And so I kept him going. But of course I love all my Peachtree ladies. I love the Murphy family. I love all these women. And it just getting to revisit them was like just the most fun. And I know people always say, oh, are you going to continue this series? Or, oh, did you just feel like you had to write more of this series? Truly, I did not even tell y'all this part of the story yet. The series was supposed to be 3 books. And then in 2020, I was just flooded with emails and letters from people asking me to write more Peachtree Bluff. And I thought, I'm going to write a Peachtree Christmas book. I wasn't sure if my editor would go for it, but she really liked the idea. And I thought I was sad when I was writing it because I was like, oh, I've had this like little peek back in the door. And then it's going to close because this is it. This is really it for the Peachtree Bluff series. And the minute I finished that book, I knew what happened next. And now remember, I wrote this book in 2020, so there wasn't that much going on. It was the pandemic. I wasn't touring. So I kept writing. And because I just wanted to see what happened next just for me. I was like, this book will never get published. They're not going to want any more Peachtree Bluff series. So I wrote like 2/3 of this book in 2020. And then in 2024 or 2025, I got a new editor at my publishing house. And she reached out to me one day and said, what would you think about writing more Peachtree Bluff? And I was like, what a great idea. As a matter of fact, I could do that very quickly because I had so much of the book already written. But I kind of feel like this is my favorite book in the series. I really do. So just know, for me to you, this is not a like, oh, they wanted you to write more in the series. I wrote this book for myself, not knowing if you guys would ever even read it. So that's how much I love this series. It's crazy. Oh, Donna S wants a Peachtree tote and mug and tea. I love that. I love that. Oh, you guys. Oh, thank you for pre-ordering. That's so nice. Love how you include dogs in your books. Thank you. Yes, love Emily Giffen. Do you ever teach classes on writing a novel? I don't. I don't feel like I'm a very good teacher because I have like a kind of chaotic writing process. I don't write chronologically. I don't outline. I don't do a lot of the things that I feel like would be really good teaching skills. But I have on occasion taught a class over at Story Summit, which is a platform that I really like that one of my friends is in charge of. And I think they do a great job. So if you are an aspiring writer out there and you're looking for classes taught by authors and publishing professionals and people that like really know their stuff, it's a really, really good one. Oh, hi from Illinois, Carolyn. Oh, you guys. Oh, I love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all are amazing. Oh, do you always read books or do you ever listen on audio? I do listen on audio a lot. Yes. I do both. In fact, I had like a couple hundred books to sign today. And I know I'm so behind the times that everyone else has probably read this, but I'm listening to Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. It was the Reese's Book Club pick, maybe like a year or two ago, and I love it. I'm obsessed with it. So good. Do you think you'll ever write any more books with historical background as in The Wedding Veil? So The Wedding Veil was a book about Edith and Cornelia Vanderbilt. And there's also a contemporary storyline too, but it's about this wedding veil that connects these women through time. And the very short answer is, oh, yes, definitely. I have so many historical novels that I want to write that I'm almost kind of like thinking that eventually I might just do a genre shift or do something where like I'm doing a series that's contemporary, but then doing one-off books that are more historical. And if you liked that book, A Happier Life is set, part of it unfolds in the present day, and then part of it unfolds from 1934 to 1976. So there's a little more, it's not real people, but it is more of a historical time period. And what else? My second book, Lies and Other Acts of Love, is like that also. And if you read that one, the real life, not the secret parts, but like the real life cute love story parts are based on my grandparents' real life love story during World War II, which was kind of cool. But yes, I have lots of people that I want to write about and lots of historical fiction. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Let's see. Oh, you guys, this has been so much fun. Oh, Susan says, when you spend so much time with characters, sorry. That like flipped off on me. Okay. When you spend so much time with your characters, do you miss them when you finish or do you automatically go on to the next group? That is an excellent question, Susan. I do kind of miss them, but I try to leave them in a place where I feel good about them. Like, it's sort of like if your friend's going through a hard time and then you help them get to the good part of their hard time and then you kind of move on. But I mean, obviously, there are some characters that I just can't let go of, like some of those characters in Under the Southern Sky and our Peachtree Bluff ladies. So, so true. Did you have to do research to think of all the drinks coffee Kyle makes? Do you know what's weird is I really didn't, and they're so bizarre too. Like that, like squash one and stuff. I don't know where that came from. I think I'm just like I clearly I really like a fall beverage. So I think that's what it really comes down to. I mean, I'm saying that to be sure I did a little bit of research for that, right? But I don't know that I really did. I mean, I drank a lot of coffee if that counts. So I put in a lot of time there. Um, well, everyone, oh my goodness, this has been so much fun. All right, let me see. I think we have like one or two more that I'm gonna answer quickly. Susan, I adored the wedding veil. Which is your favorite time period to read about or to write? Oh, thank you. I actually really loved writing the wedding veil. I loved writing that like 1913 to 1934. I think it stretched me as a writer. I had to really the 70s and things like that, I didn't live them, but I can imagine them, and my mom lived them, and she's a really good fact checker for me. But there was something about writing, a time period that I really had to piece together kind of little by little. I feel like it stretched me as a writer. Nina says, "I'll pre-order your book for your dog's photo." I love that. Oh, I love it. Okay. Oh, I finished Falling last night. Loved. Thank you, Tatted Book Babes. I'm so excited. Oh, thank you to everybody who says they've read it and loved it. You guys, that's so, so nice. All right. Well, you guys, I am so grateful to all of you for being here with me tonight. Thank you for celebrating early with me. Falling for Peachtree Bluff. And I will say one more time, whether you're watching live or you're watching this later, if you're watching this later, if you are on Talk Shop Live, you can click the shop button to order your copy of Falling for Peachtree Bluff with your signed book plate right here. Or if you are on Facebook or Instagram, you can actually still type comment shop now or for the next 7 days and get the links to order. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can click the link in the description forever after, I believe. So that's really good. Thank you guys for being here. I'm so grateful to all of you. And it means so much. I feel like it's all starting, you guys. This makes it seem real. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Rhonda. Thank you, Molly. Dev Dog Stokes. I love that name. Francine, Susie, Jeff, Michelle. You guys are the best. Becky. Thank y'all. Thank you. Thank you. Sheila, Kathy, Doris. Yay. The retired reader. All right. Mary Rita Schwartz. You guys are amazing. Maria, thank you as always for being here. All right. I love you guys. I'm going to go in the live video on Instagram. Bye, everybody. Bye, Joni. Bye, Amanda.